All right, let's bring this in. I got to move you to the other side. This is throwing me off. There we go. That's better. So, Trace, where you at?
I'm going to be respectful as possible when I say this, but the ghetto is where I'm at.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you went down to Louisville to try to, get a glimpse of Rece Hinds in action. Wasn't sure.
Why would I do that when I could sit here and watch Will Benson and
Oh,
Slater?
Yanni Diaz just missed a baseball.
Yeah, that's the thing. So for now on these road trips, I got to remember I need to pack some extra stuff. I'm gonna have to do a laptop for sure, and then an extra laptop. Yeah, so I can watch the game. I've watched this whole game. Now I'm stuck in purgatory basically here. It's 2-2, and I'm gonna say this right now. If this game goes into the 11th inning, like get done with the 10th inning and no one scores, we're gonna take a trip into the old Hampton or wherever I'm at. I don't even know what this place is.
Oh, nice play.
Oh, well. Well, I'm gonna take a trip to the business center.
Oh, he's called safe.
I can't do this.
This is like the worst play possible for me to just try to describe to you.
What happened?
There's a slow roller down the third baseline. Third baseman made the throw. Looked like he got him out with ease, but I'm guessing Diaz, the first base, was off the bag. No, he didn't. He didn't have the ball. The ball didn't. They're challenging it.
He didn't catch the ball.
Yeah, he caught it and then it fell out, and I guess they're gonna challenge that.
Who's challenging it? The Rays.
The Rays. He was called out on the field.
So they're saying he caught it and it was like
he was called safe on the field. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, I don't.
I can't see the chat. I can't see the game. I mean, I tried to put on the Bally Sports Ohio up here. It said they didn't pay for this channel. Tough.
I don't. No, not my one. I don't think you can overturn that. It's such like a judgment call, anyways. Like already, umpire was right there looking at it.
I agree.
Confirmed.
Wow. Confirming it.
Confirmed.
Nah, they didn't want to stands. They went the confirm route. All right.
Friedl's up. Will we see a bunt here, Trace?
So we have nobody out. Who's on first?
Sears on first. Friedl's at the plate.
What's on second?
No one's on second. Just Steer on first. No one out. Friedl at the plate. Rays are expecting bunt. Their third baseman is crashing. Friedl swings away. Fouls it.
Who's on first?
Steer.
What's on second?
An empty base.
Oh, I can't watch this. It's just brutal.
And now Steer got picked off.
What?
Oh, boy.
What do you mean he got picked off? Explain it to me.
The pitcher threw to the first baseman. First baseman
like a direct pickoff?
Yeah,
like
just this. He jumped. He jumped a little bit, and
he was trying to steal. Was he trying to steal?
I don't know if he's trying to steal or he was trying to just to get a big lead. Almost looked like one of those like you're trying to act like you're stealing after the pitch and you don't.
He got picked off on his secondary lead.
No, he did that jump.
Yeah, I know. He was trying to time it up. He was gonna steal
maybe later on, or he was just trying to. I don't know. It doesn't look like he was stealing.
I know, but if he was taking a leap, he might have been trying to time it up, hop and run. I don't know. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here. He was on base, nobody out.
Yeah, not ideal.
Friedl's gonna hit a double.
That seems like
That
it would
seems...
it would fit.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, wild pitch.
now,
That
to be
was it. Looked
fair,
like it went look like it went a long way too. Like it might have went far enough for him to get to third.
I was gonna say, to be fair, was the catcher trying to block it, or did he know the bases were empty? They might not have thrown the same pitch in that
No,
spot.
you're right.
So it's never perfect, but yeah, it's not ideal. I know Steer didn't want to see that.
Woof.
Yeah, I was outside all day today. I literally turned this camera on to jump on here, and I was like, "What?" I might want to use sunscreen.
Friedl strikes out. 95-mile-an-hour changeup, well out of the zone.
Damn. Sitting fifth.
Candy.
All right. I mean, he had to have been trying to steal second base. If not, that's crazy. Well, not that crazy for this team. Also, I really don't feel like getting into fights tonight, so I'm just going to lay off the whole Ellie wait until that guy gets close to the bag thing, but doesn't seem like the time or place to be pulling some shit like that.
And the inning's over.
What'd he do? Roll over a ground ball?
Yep. Right to the first baseman.
I don't know. All right, well, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to sit here for 2 more innings. If not, I'm walking to the business center. I seen a business center sign down there. I don't know what's in that business center, but we're going to visit it together.
Be interested to see what the Rays do here. They have 8, 9, and 1 due up. They're 8 and 9 hitters, not having the best seasons to say the least. So,
Who the Reds bringing in?
they had Mole warming and they had Diaz warming. I'm assuming it's going to be.
Who's coming up? That's.
Well, it's Walls hitting a $151 with a 477 OPS, and Jackson hitting 102 with a 382 OPS.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Well, I don't.
Is there any part of their lineup that has lefty on it?
They pinch hit for their number 2 hitter, so they have a lefty there, and their number 3 hitter pinched hit for is a lefty there. So they might be rolling with Martinez. Yeah, Martinez is staying in the game. They're bringing in Mole if a fourth batter of the Well, maybe they're not going to go to Martinez because the Rays just pinch hit their best left-handed bat, and Brandon Lau. This guy hit 39 home runs a couple years ago.
So then Bell's gonna go. He threw Martinez back out there. Yeah.
Yes.
That was smart.
It looks like Martinez is staying in though.
Why?
I mean, the next 2 hitters are right-handed hitters, and Yandy Diaz has significant splits.
Okay, but the other one's garbage, right?
Yes, the other one, I mean, you shouldn't really matter. I think it's more about Diaz.
Oh, Leon the Lobster.
He's rolling the dice, I guess, that Martinez is. It's better to have him face Diaz than Mole to face Diaz.
I guess the question is would you rather have Martinez versus strong split here or Mole against the strong split with the guy coming up that I don't know his name?
Yeah, but you are going to have a spot coming up. I mean, you have to get 6 more outs to win the game. So you're going to have a spot where you're going to have 2 lefties back to back. Their only guy left on the bench is a lefty as well. So
yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I think that's more probably the thinking here is like I have to get 6 outs either way. I might as well not burn through my bullpen for one batter here.
Yeah.
And he struck him out. So there we go.
There you go. Worked out.
All right.
Big brain Bell.
What the hell, Orioles? Orioles are up 2-0 on the Padres, and they're down 4-2. Braves are falling apart.
Yeah. That's why I'd have liked to have played them. Would have been cool. We got 2 outs.
Just one. Well, that's ahead of me. Here's the second out. Lazy fly out. Ooh. Friedl and Fairchild almost collided.
All right.
So this is Martinez's last batter.
He doesn't have to throw to him, though.
I'm going to put the winning run on base.
No. He can come out of the game, as I'm saying. I don't know what split. I don't know who's up, but.
Well, Yandy Diaz up, then the next 2 batters are lefty. So this is Martinez's last batter.
All right. Okay.
No matter what happens here. Rays are playing a man down today. Well, I think.
Reds wouldn't know anything about that.
There you go. What'd you think about Rosa Reina taking in the game and from the stands? That was a little different. I mean, I know the Mariners are playing the White Sox, so it's a little less like.
Right.
You know.
It's kind of wild, to be honest. I don't know, though. I mean, who cares? I mean, honestly, who cares?
Well, they're up they were up like 8-0 or something. Now, if they had lost the game like by 1 run on Friday night to the White Sox, the Mariners, then it might be a different story. Oh, here we go. All right, free baseball, Trace. Free baseball of all days to get some free. We haven't had an extra inning game in a long time either.
It's gonna go 15 or 16 innings, and I'm gonna be here.
You know what's gonna happen. We had this happen last year. Remember, I was in my parents' office room one day. We had like a 12-inning game. All right, so let's set up the situation here since you need it set up for you.
I know nothing at this point.
So Stevenson will be leading off. Candelaria is the ghost runner. I'm assuming they're probably going to pinch run for him. You have Espinal or Slater. I think Slater is above average, but
I don't
want to save him.
I don't know. I wouldn't. Unless,
you just roll the dice?
I wouldn't be running. I wouldn't be running for him. I would take my chance and hope that you're going to get a clean single that doesn't require someone fast. I don't know. It's a flip of a coin regardless, and I'm not taking out Candelario to put in Espinal.
Well, the only thing I think maybe you would is Benson is due up 5th, but that is your only lefty that's left in the game that you would want to pinch hit a right-handed batter for. So it's not like there's, you don't have multiple spots. So you could maybe burn Espinal and save Slater for Benson's spot.
I'm saying that you would lose. I mean, I know it sounds wild, but the way this game's gone, you're going to lose Candy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you care about a spot coming back up, but it's not that crazy to think that a spot might not come back up.
I've watched a lot of games lately that have gone like 11 and 12 innings where they just keep scoring one run or they don't score. That's happened a lot more than I think it was happening initially when they changed this rule.
Yeah, I think that I don't think the chances are unbelievably high, but the chances are decent that they both score a run.
No, and the Reds did not pinch run.
Well, I'm just saying, like we're talking what are the percentage chances of being safe at home and out at home between Candy and Espinal? Espinal is not that fast.
All right. Oh. Candelario got over. Ground ball back to the pitcher. Pitcher looked like he was going to go to third. Might have had a play. Decided against it. Oh, the third baseman broke the wrong way.
Oh, he didn't cover the bag?
Yeah, third baseman went to get the ball and was out of position. That's why he went to first. They did pinch run. They pinch run Slater. Now they're pinch running Slater.
What?
Now that he's on third. All right, Stuart Fairchild right on right. Fair ball! How about Stu?
Would Candelario have scored?
Hey, it doesn't matter. Now we got Stu on second. 1 out.
What do you mean it doesn't matter? It does matter. It does matter.
It doesn't matter.
It definitely matters. All right.
Well, what a swing. What a swing.
He's so excited. I mean, I'm excited too, but I'll be excited if we score another one. How about that? Not to be a Debbie Downer, but we did start the inning with a guy at second base.
Yes, it'd be nice to get another one.
Who's up? Benson?
Now this is where it's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm assuming he's going to go to Diaz, but he should go to Mole. I mean, you got two lefties up that are platoon lefties.
He's going to go to Mole.
You think so? I don't think he will. He better. Mole sat down. They just showed it. He should go to Mole, though. I completely think that's the wrong decision.
Yeah, why in the hell wouldn't you not go to Mole?
No, because now it's a save situation.
I don't give a schmuck.
I agree. I'm with you. I agree. I would go with Mole. I mean, you have two batters that do not start against lefties. Like, this is your...
It was a save situation last inning when Mole was going to come in. Give up a run, the game's over.
What's Isaac? It's not Isaac. It's
Who's up right now?
Marte. Now the third batter up in the inning for the Rays does have great numbers against lefties. So I guess there is that. And that's their best player right now in Paredes. I don't know. But if you get your first two outs or you get a strikeout or,
I think what happens is if you get a guy on base, then he's very terrified.
Let's just get another run and not worry about it.
Exactly.
Or 2 more.
I'll take 2 more.
Fly out to right field.
2 outs?
2 outs. And we have Benson at the plate.
They got a base open. They ought to walk him.
Faced India?
That's what I would do.
Looked like the catcher was going to try to throw out Fairchild at second. He was kind of leaning, and then he dropped the ball. I don't
What's the count?
2-0 to Will.
2-0.
2-1.
This is brutal.
Hard liner foul.
At least we can go to bed knowing they hit one hard foul.
I try to help you out. And Benson struck out. All right, here we go.
Let's see that coming.
Well, we got a super chat.
Let's super chat him up, baby.
Kyle Kowski, 20 bomb. Shout out to you, Kyle. Do you think the constant mistakes that we make are just a product of youth? Being inconsistent offensively is one thing, but being bad at things we can control, like making a routine throw to first or base running, is tilting.
So the routine throw to first comment, I wouldn't say that that's something you can control. That's a physical mistake. But I do agree on the mental side of things is what he's talking. I mean, the getting picked off, that's where a reporter inside the clubhouse needs to ask some of those questions so you can get it. And I don't know whether they would answer them truthfully, but we need some insight on what Steer was thinking right there. I mean, was he trying to steal second base? Because if he was, then at least we can agree that's not so much a mental mistake as it is just, maybe making a bad decision. But if he wasn't stealing, then he's just out in la la land. I don't know. I do think that there is a fine line between what Ellie did at second base and having a good, fundamentally sound baseball team that knows that they can't, I don't want to say, treat it as if it's not important, because I know these guys know it's important, but I don't know. I'd say it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's face it. If you're a hard-nosed manager, you're certainly going to have players that are going to be more accountable. They're not going to they might not make as many mental mistakes, but the other side of the coin that people are going to argue is that players might not play as free, and you're not going to see the true potential of any of the players because they're too worried about making a mistake versus just making plays. I mean, that's a real thing. I don't know.
All right, Diaz. We need likes for Diaz, folks.
Nobody out, right? Nobody out. Man on second.
We got to pop up. Marte. Oh. Couldn't come up with it. It was a tough play.
There's being at the game, watching the game without sound, or watching the game.
I can't. I don't know if it might have. They said they called it no play. I don't know. Did it hit one of the things up top?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. It was a tough play either way. I don't know what their ground rules are. They changed them at some point.
There's being at the game, watching the game without sound, listening to the game on the radio, and then being on a stream without being able to watch the game. That's where I'm at.
I can't believe you didn't bring 2 devices.
It's on me. It's sometimes, you know.
All right, we got 3-2 count.
I amaze myself at how stupid I am.
Foul ball.
Season's on the line right now or no?
Trade deadline might be on the line. Struck him out.
Oh, man.
Beautiful
this guy's a
fastball right at the top corner of the zone.
This guy's umpire did a good job, sounds like. Was it a strike, Nick?
Yeah, it was like right there. It was right on the corner. ABS would have called it a strike.
All right, that's all I care about.
Well, although the Bally strike zone is not the same as
no
StatCast, so but it looked like it. Pop up. Oh god. Oh god. Oh, India makes the play. Tag throw to third. I 2 outs. I don't know about that, India. I don't know about throw it all the way across. Whew.
2 outs, guy at third base.
2 outs, guy at third
Who's
base.
up? Who's up?
Their best player.
Do you walk him? Probably not, because he can steal second base, but
I don't. Who's on deck? They've made so many changes.
Oh, dude, I just
the guy on deck is a much better matchup.
Yeah, but do you put the winning run on first base? Is the $1 million question. That's why Bell makes the big bucks.
Diaz might walk him either way, so you might just say, you know what? It's not like Diaz throws a lot of strikes anyway, so we'll just roll the dice and see what happens. $1-0. Sorry.
Oh, I thought we lost.
Hit him.
Let's
solve that.
Put him on.
We got a super chat from Fergie Fowler. Trace would have had to have packed to bring 2 devices. Oh. Wow.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm just gonna wear that one.
It was a super. I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't.
It was a super. $1.99. I'll put it back on the screen.
Damn, I don't see no super.
I don't even have the chat up, as it'll be spoiled. I just have the supers up.
My natural light that I had like an hour ago is gone.
All right, Johnny DeLuca to the plate, swings at a pitch way out of the strike zone. 0-1.
He'll do that to you.
Come on, Diaz. Ooh, that was a good pitch. He held up 1-1. Likes, folks, likes.
This is terrible.
2-1.
I need a strike.
Swing and a miss. 2-2. 2-2.
Two strikes.
2-2.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Reds hang on to a 3-2 lead.
Fouled away. Bally did the high home for the 2-2 pitch.
Oh,
2 outs in the 9th inning.
I'd be screaming.
That might have been the most infuriating thing of this entire process that you missed.
Oh, my God.
Here we go. Ball 3. 3-2.
Could you imagine if something happened right there?
Yeah. It was wild.
Oh, man.
Maybe someone slipped out of the chair or something. Was trying to hit the button back. Or their screen froze. Swinging a drive to left field. Benson under it. And the Cincinnati Reds win the ball game.
Woo! I got to be quiet. Respectfully.
Trace, say the words.
Nick, it's time to do a show.
And bench to bench. Change hit in the air to deep right field. That goes Clemente. It's a save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. He's gone. Oh, my God. Can you believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Here comes Walker. The Reds win the pennant. Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive, hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the line. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did. He did. Reds win. Win. Line to right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game.
Breakaway and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
Nick. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to learn from tonight. I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to remember that I need to bring 2 devices when I go on the road, and I also need to bring some beverages that are cold. Because if you go down to the lobby at the Hampton Inn in Munster, they have warm pop. This is after I bought it. I figured this out. So shout out to the Hampton Inn. But nonetheless, Nick, I'm glad that I got on here after a win. I'm not sure what I was going to talk about after a loss. Offense still stinks. I don't know what else to say outside of that. But they want to run one. Go ahead. I want to beat you to the punch. They won a 1-run game. Wow, that's hard to say.
They had a victory in a 1-run game.
No, I want you to say they won it.
They won a game in a 1-run game.
No.
They won a 1-run game. Yeah, that is tough.
Yeah, it'll mess you up. Try it at home, kids. Try it, chat. See what you think. I'm going to apologize in advance, too. I thought I had AirPods charged. Those aren't charged either. I'm literally, I tell you what, you can call me tonight. Just call me Will Benson. I'm over.
There was a lot of offers tonight, Trace. The Reds got 3 hits.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I'm aware. I don't even know if they got it. They got one of the hits when I wasn't even watching. So I seen them. They got 2 hits for me. But anyways, Nick, glad to be back kind of here. And shout out to anybody that wants to order a pizza at 337 Hampton in Munster, Indiana. I'll pay you back if you do it, but I'm currently using the only device I have to talk about the Cincinnati Reds.
All right.
Just saying. Anyways, Nick, how are you doing, Nick? You're so excited. By the way, you reminded me of a kid getting ready to go. That's about 7 years old, getting ready to go out to Halloween. Get a bunch of candy when Stuart Fairchild got that hit.
It's a big hit. That was a big hit.
It is a big hit. I'm not gonna say it wasn't. I didn't see it, but I'm gonna believe it. It was a big hit. It really was.
Big hit. I mean, it's probably up there. One of the top, 5 hits of the season.
Oh. Okay.
A 10th inning RBI double. I mean.
I don't know. It's a long season, but maybe. I'm not going to downplay it. All right, Nick. As always, we do a box score recap. It's presented by you. You had to do play-by-play for the last basically 4 innings, so hopefully.
We'll try to rally here.
Hopefully that helps. I don't think it did, but take it away, Nick.
We got a really great box score recap till about the 8th, and then we're going to kind of fly by the seat of our pants after that. All right, Reds taking on the Rays gave 1 of 3 at Tropicana Field. First time the Reds have played in Tampa since 2017. In the top of the first, the Reds forced the Rays starting pitcher Shane Baz to throw 28 pitches. India had a leadoff walk, and then with 2 outs, TJ Friedl worked a walk in his first plate appearance since coming back off the IL. And then Jamer Candelario smoked a 3-2 pitch to right field, 2 RBI double, 2-0 Reds. Lodolo worked through a quick 1-2-3 first on just 10 pitches. Then he hit the leadoff batter in the bottom of the second, and the Rays ended up tying the game on a couple of hits. And then from there, the game became a pitcher's duel. Lodolo did not have his best stuff, but he got through 6 2/3 scoreless. Shane Baz, on the other hand, was dominant after the first. He only allowed 1 base runner over the next 5 innings and was very pitch efficient after that. Game stayed tied. We went to the 10th inning. In the 10th inning, Stuart Fairchild doubled with 1 out to put the Reds up 3-2. And then Alexis Diaz got through the 10th. Sorry. Reds win 3-2. Reds now 50-53 on the season.
There is a deep drive of the day. It wasn't in Tropicana. I can tell you that. That place is a dump. It was off the bat of Ruben Ibarra. Hopefully I said that, Ruben, right.
You nailed it.
It's his 8th home run of the year. And for those that are wondering, it's a fly ball to center field. And for those that are wondering who he plays for, it appears that he plays for the Dragons, I think.
It's actually the Lookouts. They haven't updated his face.
Oh, well, there he goes. Turns out it's for the Lookouts. Did the Lookouts win? Not to get in the Reds MILB, but
Lookouts, they were up 2-0. We don't ever count our chickens and chat.
Yeah.
They did win, Trace.
Wow.
It was Rhett Louder night. Can't wait to talk about that in a minute.
What a night. All right, the Deep Drive today is sponsored by DSC, and they are a leader in renewable commodities specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. No script, by the way. Don't need it. You know why? Because I know how good DSC is. They're a leader. Like other players on this team. Leaders. Nick, we don't have a rundown in the middle, so it's kind of hard to figure out exactly where you want to start, where you want to go. Usually on nights like tonight, we kind of do the traditional, let's talk about the starting pitcher, and then we'll talk about how good the bullpen was, and then we'll get into maybe a guy or two that actually had some success at the plate. Tonight, all the success come relatively early. I don't know. Where do you want to start?
I guess let's start with Lodolo. I mean,
sure. Solid.
I mean, he gave up like 10 hard hit balls. He really battled through it. Only walked 1 guy, so that's the reason I think he survived, was because he did somehow, despite not being able to locate a lot of his pitches, didn't walk anyone. He made the pitches when he needed to. He really relied on his fastball a lot more than I think he wanted to. Tracy threw 36 curveballs and changeups, and he only got 1 swing and miss on them. Curveball is only in the zone 32% of the time. Changeup only in the zone 24% of the time. So the fact that he somehow got through this game, 2 runs and 6 2/3 was honestly just incredible.
Well, sometimes it takes a little bit of luck, but at the same time, I mean, Lodolo, when you don't walk anybody, it puts you in a position where you can get away with not having your best stuff and or getting hit harder than you normally would. But like I said, I take the whole getting hit hard sometimes with a grain of salt because, more times than not, it is a very direct reflection of the way you threw the ball. But at the same time, sometimes it's just not your day in regards to being able to find your pitches. And he wasn't his best stuff, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I mean, he got through it. Gave up 2 runs, gave his team a chance to win, and I don't know if I'm there yet, Nick, but you're the guy that every time we start talking about this team and what the future looks like, et cetera, you're always like, well, they have a chance. Look at their starting pitching. I don't know how long this is sustainable for, but tonight's a good night to prove that what you said can be true. That this team can find a way to win, even though their offense is abysmal, maybe more times than we'd like it to be. But their starting pitching and their bullpen, they keep them in games, and that's exactly what happened tonight. Martinez, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I don't want to skip over what Martinez did either. He came into a thankless position. If he gives up the lead, we're sitting here talking about, oh, Martinez, get him out of here, blah blah blah. But now no one's even going to bring it up.
Sorry, the Orioles just tied the Padres. So
nice.
That could be a big deal. Get the Reds within 3.5. So keep trucking along here. Sorry.
You're fine.
But no. Good point on Martinez. This bullpen, they had the other day. Who was the starter that went the Montes game? where they threw no hit the rest of the game. I mean, it feels like that was 5 days ago, but it was actually the last game that the Reds played. I mean, that's back-to-back really good performances. Diaz, a nice job. I know you didn't get to see it. But Diaz, when Diaz needs to get the job done, he gets the job done a lot more often than not. I don't know how sustainable it is, but he keeps doing it. And, I mean, this is a runner on second base spot, and you didn't give up a run. I mean, what a job by Diaz as I don't know, as maybe gross as it sometimes feels that he somehow gets through these games. He keeps doing it. I don't know how he's doing it, but he's doing it.
Yeah, he reminds me of the old man in pickup basketball and the old men's league, the YMCA leagues. And you walk into the gym and it's just there's nothing pretty about anything that's going on there with that fella. But he knows how to he knows how to get buckets, and nobody can really guard him all that well. So if it works, then that's all that matters. Here's the thing. I don't know I know you can look it up statistically through splits and all of that. At some point, it'd be cool if Major League Baseball found a way to give relievers like credit for coming into an extra inning game and not giving up a run. I don't know what you'd call it, but that's like that's like more clutch. In my opinion, that's more clutch than coming in and stranding an inherited runner. Which essentially is what it is, but that's big. I mean, let's face it. We sat here and we talked at the beginning of the ninth, or at the end of the ninth, when we knew it was going to extras, that it's relatively high likelihood, or it felt like a high likelihood, that both teams would just get one across, and Diaz didn't let that happen. So
13 consecutive saves. 13 for 13, last 13 for Diaz.
I think at some point during all that, I was screaming and yelling for his job.
I think that was the game right before he went on that streak.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. He hasn't blown a save since I said that he needs to go. I know that.
Yeah. Who's next, Trace?
Will Benson's next. I mean,
Okay.
I've been trying for a while to get Will Benson off the schneid, but he's been okay. You know what's funny about that whole situation? We'll get into it later. I'm not doing this right now. He's not even really the guy that I would be. I don't know. We'll talk about it later.
So
anyone else from the bullpen? Cruz came in. I know Cruz came in, but I don't want to downplay what Cruz did, but it wasn't as impressive as Martinez. But anybody else that you want to speak about before we get into offensive stuff?
No, I was just gonna say the offense. Yeah, I mean, look, they only got 3 hits. They only had 3 walks as well. Obviously, not a great night from the offense. Shane Baz is a really talented pitcher that, when he's able to throw strikes, is very talented. This is only his 13th career big league start. This guy was the number 8 prospect in all of baseball before he needed Tommy John surgery. So this is a really talented pitcher. The Reds had a rough night offensively. That being said, they did, in the 2 best spots of the game for them to score runs, did come through. Right. Candelario, that was a huge hit in the first inning when, Baz's command was off, because he obviously locked in after that. And you can say it's all the Reds offense or not. I think it's probably more Baz, but whatever. They got the big hit in that spot. And then in the 10th inning, they had the runner on second. The Stuart Fairchild came through right on right matchup, not a matchup that you want him in. He came through. So, it's not a game where I would look at anything that the Reds did and say, yeah, they deserve to win that game. But the Reds lost a lot of games earlier in the year where I thought they did deserve to win. And it's nice to get some of that, progression coming back. But the Reds did do some nice things as well. I thought the Reds made some pretty nice defensive plays tonight. There was a couple, the Sear base running was a pretty big blunder, but Marte made a couple nice plays over at third base. He looks a lot more comfortable. India made a kind of nice play, made a bad throw, but he made a nice play. There was a runner on third that ended the inning, just to kind of get out of some jams. But yeah, I mean, not a good night for the Reds offense, but they did come through when they needed to.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I didn't get a chance to see it, but you obviously mentioned that kind of caught a little bit of a break with Candelario breaking for third base in a spot like that. I don't know if he's seen that the third baseman had gone for the baseball or not. My guess is that he probably didn't. He kind of took off and was hopeful that he wouldn't get thrown out of third. It ultimately ended up not mattering just because of the double. But, those mistakes do they do become very glaring if it causes them the game. Now, it didn't tonight, so we won't bring it up. But I guess I am bringing it up. But it's like, when this team struggles to win one-run games, then I think that sometimes those are the reasons why. And you get picked off first base, you're trying to take third base on a ground ball back to the pitcher, just bad fundamental baseball. And I know people want to blame David Bell for that, but I mean, at some point the players have to take some responsibility for these things too. So, I don't know. I said it once, I'll say it again. This is the last time I'll say it. Like, I do think we need to probably slow our roll down a little bit. I love Ellie loves to have fun. I love that. I mean, and Ellie, to be fair to Ellie, like, he's gonna get that guy out 99 out of 100 times. But it's a 2-2 game. It's like the 8th inning. That just seems like a bad idea. Now, I'm not saying you kill the kid for it, but I would like David Bell to say, "Hey, Ellie, like, let's know the situation a little bit. Like, if it's a 5-1 game or something, let's have some fun, or just don't make it so close. Like, let's tag the bag a little sooner." But because I'll be honest, like, that's when I start to wonder who's running the ship here. And I'm trying to defend David Bell, but if that guy was safe at second today, which he wasn't, but if he was, man, there would be. I mean, you want to talk about burning? The world, Reds Twitter would be burnt to the ground officially.
Boy, am I glad we're not talking about that all night, or Candelario getting thrown out at third base. Oh man.
Yeah. Could you imagine? I mean, none of this happened. But could you imagine if any of these three things happened? Ended up being Steer was the losing proposition because he got picked off first, and or the guy was safe at second base and that guy ended up scoring, and or Candelario got thrown out of third base and Stuart Fairchild hit a double right after. If any of those things were to happen, this is it's just I'm telling you, man, winning fixes everything. It does. People are going home happy tonight. Otherwise, they literally would have quite literally trying to burn the Great American be on fire right now. But anyway.
It's true. It's true.
Just got to win, man. Just got to win. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else. I mean, listen, I didn't get a chance to see the last, whatever it was, two innings, but I don't know, Nick. I would love for you to convince me that this is possible. It's hard for me to see it.
I don't know. They're there 50 and 53. I mean, we'll just.
When's Matt McLain come back?
Mid-August. So I think August 17th, I think, was the rehab start. So you're probably looking at September 1st if everything goes well.
Yeah, it's just not it. It's not it. And I'll be honest, I don't expect a whole lot out of Matt McLain when he comes back.
I mean, you have to just say anything he gives you is gravy. If you're banking on anything that he gives you, August 12th is when he's officially cleared. But yeah, if you're banking on anything, I think that's. But again, if the Reds pitching holds up, that's where I just see them being able to hang in the race longer than some other teams, just because other teams don't have the starting pitching depth that the Reds have.
All right, I got some fun topics on the back half of this show. You do the game time read 988. Shout out to them. Text, call if you ever need help. 988. Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation. Life's better with you in it. Also, there's that event. I know you've been plugging the podcast. Please continue to do so. That's great. That is. Do you know that?
I have it at the bottom of my thing. Striking Out the Stigma, August 15th from 5 to 7 at the Holy Grail at the Banks. Yep. Tommy Thrall host with Brent Suter and TJ Antone. 50-50 raffle and a silent auction. All proceeds benefit the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation. August 15th.
Perfect. Game time, Nick.
Yeah, Reds back in town on Monday. So you're going to want to head down to the ballpark, watch the Reds, beat up on the Cubs right as they trade their whole roster away. Be sure to use the Game Time app because the Game Time app is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball. That makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. All-in pricing, you can toggle this feature. It shows you the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code CINCY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code CINCY, CINCY, for $20 off. And, of course, our friends at 988 call or text for free and confidential support 24/7.
Love that.
And we got a couple supers as well.
Let's do the supers. Let's do the supers, baby.
All right. We got Michael Rolfe supers. That's
You want me to do that one?
they're both Michael Rolfe. We got two from him.
I'll do it. Meaty win by the Reds tonight. My gosh, this is a novel. I'm going to do my best to read this. This is very small. Michael Rolfe with the super bomb. But speaking of which, Michael, let's go to a base. We agreed to go to baseball games. I agreed. You're very nice to us. We need to go down to a baseball game. We'll figure that out. Reds could get an insane return on some players at the deadline, but I fear the front office is afraid to move certain players. No opinion either way for me, but Nick and Trace, I'd love to hear your thoughts. ATOBTTR, that means, and this one belongs to the Reds. I was getting ready to ask you, Nick, right before we went to the second half. I said I had some interesting stuff to talk about. I just wonder, there's always an argument of buyers, sellers. What should the Reds do? This, that, and the next. I got to be honest. I know I've said selling. The more reason I say selling is because I just don't think that the Reds are going to make the postseason. I don't say no matter what they do, but in a way, that's my general thought. I'm not going to put my life on the line and say they can't make the postseason clearly, because I do think that there's a sliver chance, there's a slight chance, not one in which I would be willing to mortgage any future over, obviously. But having said all that, what moves the needle? What? Because I'm not trading India, I'm not trading anybody if I don't get something of value in return clearly. But then on the other side, what could the Reds get that would make a difference?
I mean, this is the kind of season where you have to get a player with multiple years of control if you're getting a hitter. You're not close enough to where you say, well, we're going to just take a shot here and acquire a bat on an expiring contract, unless it's a bat like the guys the Reds picked up at the waiver deadline last year. Unless it's a guy you're picking up as a flyer for nothing, that's a different situation.
Hunter Renfroe.
So you can't. I mean, there's only a few players that probably fit that bill. Players with multiple years of control that teams are okay with moving, and those players obviously cost a lot more. So I just don't think it's very realistic to expect the Reds to buy anything, unless something kind of just falls in their lap and it makes a lot of sense. But that's more depending on what are other teams offering. And it's just every report I read is there's not that many buyers, or there's not that many sellers. So
don't you think that's why there's a slight chance you're going to get something dumb in return? It doesn't feel like, how do I say this? It doesn't feel like it adds up to where you don't get a whole lot in return for India, but then at the same time in the next breath, you can't really add anybody because nobody's selling. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. It definitely, I don't know. I wish there weren't. This is where if anything, I'll say this is where the playoff situation kind of makes the trade deadline a little less interesting.
I almost think they should move it back, and I'm sure there's owners don't want it to, because they want to be able to dump some contracts. But it feels like it should maybe be moved back to at least August 15th or something to kind of weed maybe a couple more teams out. But I'm sure that teams like the White Sox, they don't want that. They want to start getting rid of some salary, or other teams that, had disappointing years. They're not getting the attendance numbers that they're expecting, so they want to shed some salary. And if there's not the trade deadline, you don't force teams to make moves, and you don't get a whole lot of action going on. So yeah, it just like it's again, I keep beating a dead horse. It's just, what are you getting back? I don't know other teams' prospects well, but if another team offered me, let's say, Carlos Jorge type level prospect for Jonathan India right now, I don't really care where the Reds are. I'm taking that deal. But if I'm getting a guy that's a flyer, I'm looking down the Reds, farm system. I'm getting Ethan O'Donnell. I like Ethan O'Donnell, but he's not a guy that I'm banking on. Like, if that's the kind of level prospect I'm getting back, I'm not moving India, because yes, there's a possibility that a guy like Ethan O'Donnell becomes a big leaguer, but it's a long shot. Just like it's a long shot the Reds make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
I don't want a long shot to get rid of an actually long shot that I'm here right now with. So it just all comes down to what you're getting in return. I don't think the Reds are in a situation where it's so dire that you don't take a gamble on this year, though.
Well, let me be clear. If you're not going to get a player of the prospect ranking of a Cam Collier, then I wouldn't trade India. I wouldn't trade.
Well, you're
India.
not. I don't think you are.
Well, I would say this. Then he's off the market then, because like my thing is, well, first of all, if that's all it takes is to trade and get relatively average or above average players at the deadline, then I think once the Reds get into a position, maybe not this year, but next year certainly, then you start to pull that trigger if there's other teams out there willing to give up guys like Jonathan India, who had a really good season this year. And yeah, I know that we've sat here and said that he doesn't have a position, and he doesn't. And maybe that's the downfall of him. But he's a good hitter. I mean, he's a big league hitter. I have a hard time believing that if you're going to give up a prospect that's in single A, there's no guarantees of anything. Cam Collier may never even make. I know people. I'm not saying he's not going to, but what's the percentage chance right now that Cam Collier doesn't even make the big leagues? 20%.
Yeah, it's probably somewhere.
So I'm just saying, like, 20% is a pretty high number. That's not. It doesn't seem like that's a good value for the Reds if you're not going to get something in return of even single A. To me is where I draw the line. Like, if you're going to tell me I'm going to get a AA or AAA guy, I just don't think that's the case. But you can't convince me that for Jonathan India, you can't get a higher level single A guy. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll find out. Or we won't find out. Maybe they won't trade him.
I don't care if they're in the Arizona Complex League or AA. I don't view prospects like that. I think you have to just always take the best player. I don't think you worry about how close they are or not. Now, a lot of times
best player is a guess if they're young. Is a guess at best.
Yes, but I'm not sacrificing talent. Like, this guy I think has a better chance of getting the big league, but his ceiling's only a 3 out of 10, whereas I have a guy that's a ceiling that's a 6 out of 10, but his chances are a little bit slimmer. I don't know. I don't worry about that aspect of it. I'm fine with the Reds getting returns that are in AAA or low A. Just get good players and keep stockpiling the system. It'd be great if they found players that are in AA or AAA that can help sooner, but I don't think you can view or only want those kind of players back in return.
I didn't say that you would only ask for those. I would say that would be a higher premium. Guys that are closer to the big leagues that appear closer to big league ready than projects that are in single A that might have all the tools in the world. But Carlos Jorge, are you telling me that the Reds can't find a Carlos Jorge out there for Jonathan India?
I think that's about the baseline in my opinion. I think that's about. I don't know. It's so hard to tell because these trades are so inconsistent. You'll see one trade, you'll be like, whoa, wow, they got a haul back for that. And then you'll see another trade and you're like, that's all they got. And a lot of times these prospect rankings are so far off of, I think, what the reality is.
Yes, I agree.
From these big league teams, which is what makes it hard. But I'm just saying, as a guy that tries to follow the Reds minor league system the best I can, and I'm not an expert on it by any means, I feel like probably Carlos Jorge is about what I would think that you could get back for Jonathan India recently. I do not think that a team's going to give up a player like Cam Collier. If they do, I don't even think about it. I might even trade if I was I was in first place right now. To be honest with you,
Yeah, that's where you're going to lose a lot of people. But yeah, I understand.
I lose them. I mean, like I don't think he has that kind of value.
Well, I would say that if this year, I don't think I'm getting rid of Jonathan India if the Reds are in first place and McLean's hurt. Like,
it'd be tough. It would be tough. I'm not saying it's not.
You don't do it. You don't do it. You don't do it. You don't do it. But I do understand what you're saying. We'll see. I mean, this is what's I guess relatively interesting. Here soon, we're going to find out what's going to happen, and I'm not rooting for it either way. I think people think that I'm a hater. I guess you could say I'm a hater from the standpoint that I always bring up India's flaws. But you know what? I mean, I give him credit. He's a big league hitter. See at that. Nice. That is big league.
We got to get you off the show in 45 minutes.
That's big league, dude. That's why I'm a blessed man. I'm a blessed man. I'm starving right now. Anyways. I hope the podcast listeners like that. Well, what else? What are you going to say?
Cutting that out. We have standards around here, Trace.
Yeah, I'm well aware. I listened to the podcast on the way up here.
It's missing half of my conversation.
Doesn't to be fair, half the show gets axed away, which is fine. All right. Final thoughts here on this show. A couple of them that I know we have to get to. One of them certainly the Rece Hinds situation. Anything else that you want to jump into before we get into that?
No, just want to make sure we hammer home big hit from Stuart Fairchild. I don't think we can say that enough.
Say it again.
Big hit from Stuart Fairchild.
Yeah, big hit. Really big. So big. Bigly. Huge.
Massive.
Huge. The only thing is that Stuart Fairchild never gets any love. He'll just continue to get hate from those that I don't know if they don't watch this team or not, but it's like of all the guys to hate on this team, Stuart Fairchild he doesn't even register in my mind of guys that I don't like on this team. But
yeah.
All right, Austin Slater
scored a big run. I can't say it with a straight face.
No, listen, can I say this? I have not gotten a chance. I mean, we had the All-Star break. I've worked a couple weekends. I really feel like I haven't got a chance to watch this team play in a while, like on a daily basis, and I don't have a good pulse on what I truly feel about all this. I can't sit here and say with a straight face that Austin Slater is like the 100% the guy that I would have let go. Certainly on paper, it seems like that's the guy I would have let go, but I don't know that, Nick. Like I haven't watched enough to say, yeah, I've not seen Austin Slater play, but what, 1 or 2 games at the most? So it's hard for me to say that. And I understand the Will Benson thing in regards to Rece Hinds is what we're talking about here. The Will Benson thing is like, I'm more or less arguing against Will Benson from the standpoint that everybody always wants to like defend Will Benson for his atrocious play for a month, but then they want to bring up the fact that Rece Hinds was 1 for 17 or whatever it is, 1 for 16 in his last 17 at bats. I just say you can't have it both ways. That's all.
I think that people bring up 1 for 17 for Rece Hinds more because the last 3 years of professional baseball, Will Benson's hit better than Rece Hinds at higher levels than Rece Hinds was at. So that's why I think Will Benson deserves the benefit of the doubt a little bit more. I just think what Rece Hinds did this year was so insane. Like, I don't know if we're ever going to see a player that performed as bad as Rece Hinds performed at AAA come up and perform as well as in the big leagues. What Brandon Williamson did last year was crazy. What Rece Hinds did was on a whole nother level of crazy. So I think that's that. So again, there's two different conversations that you need to have here. Yeah. If you either need to say, okay, is Rece Hinds, would you rather have Rece Hinds or Will Benson? That should be conversation number one. If you're content with, I'm fine with.
Are we talking long term?
I'm talking right now. Right now. Would you rather have Will Benson or Rece Hinds?
Listen, my argument is this. I'd like to see a little bit more. That's all. I just want to see. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more because I wanted to make sure. I want to make damn sure that cracker, that the firecracker that we set off doesn't have maybe a couple more fires left in it. That's all. And I don't think that we got a chance to see that fully. I do know that the 1 for 16 thing is going to get brought up, blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing. The All-Star break, the All-Star break kind of cut that off a little bit. And then on top of that, I just feel like the Reds are in a spot where they're going to have to do something absurd to get back in the postseason. And I've seen enough out of some of these guys to where they're just average players. I don't expect them to get crazy hot. If anything, Rece Hinds is a guy that's proven that, yeah, maybe he's going to be Jekyll and Hyde, but if he can get really, really hot again for just 2 weeks, I'm not talking about the hot that he was on. I'm talking about what he's done in the minor leagues before, where he goes on these 1 and 2 week stretches that are just absurd. And maybe he does that just one more time this season, and maybe that propels them to win 3 or 4 games they wouldn't have otherwise. Or we can keep running out Will Benson, and he's going to hit 210 and get on base at 297 and strike out probably 20 times for every 3 or 4 walks and maybe play okay outfield. And Rece Hinds, I think, is a better outfielder. I don't know if the stats prove that, but just watching it, I'd say he's pretty close, or they're at least equal. At least.
That's fair. That's fair.
So we're not losing anything. So let me also say, I'm out in the middle of the field. I'm just having a little bit of fun. I like to sometimes, bust some people up that we have fun with. I know that Bryce has watched Rece Hinds play significantly amount more baseball than I have. And I'm not overly torn up about this situation regardless, because I don't think it makes a damn bit of difference. I guess I'm just saying, let's not act as if the fan base doesn't have some semblance of frustration that is justified from the standpoint that we're not 100% sure that we haven't seen the full fireworks show yet. I just want to make sure that we've seen all of it, because our options are going back to Espinal, Slater.
Hold on. These are two different conversations. You got to first make the decision. Do you want Will Benson or Rece Hinds? And then it's a different conversation, and I'll lay it out in a second. But why is Will Benson not capable of going on one of those stretches? Will Benson had 3 months last year where he had an OPS of 983, 997, and 1,073. 3 separate months last year where he was that hot. Well, Will Benson's played better for the last 3 years at higher levels. What Rece Hinds did was incredible, but expecting him to continue that, and you kind of saw it already tail off. I mean, sure, I guess you can sit and wait for it to happen and say, well, we gave him a shot. But these games right now, you're in a spot where it's almost do or die. And if you feel like Will Benson's the better option, which I feel like he is, and I'll stand out on an island on that because I know everyone's so enamored with the guy they saw for 2 weeks. I think you go with what you think is the right decision.
I'll say this: the delta that Will Benson's gonna provide versus what Rece Hinds would have provided is not going to be that great of a difference over the next two or 3 weeks. I'm not here to say that Will Benson's the guy you to let go down. Anyways, to be very clear, I know Espinal provides some flexibility from an infield perspective, and that's why maybe he is not a guy that you want to get rid of. I also understand that Slater just got here. You just brought him over. You obviously liked him enough to trade. I mean, you really didn't trade anybody for him. I no offense to Alex Young, but I guess it felt like Slater it would have been a little unfair to have him come over and then cut him that quickly. Let's face it, though, none of these players, the delta is that great, and I guess I'm just to a point now where it's like, I guess maybe if you're going to convince me that Will Benson's going to get hot, all right, I'm not going to argue that, but I know who was basically just proved it not that long ago was Rece Hinds, and it seems a little unjust, regardless of how it all plays out. And I get that that it looks bad when you go 1 for 16, but his whole time that he was here, he hit 315, as we know, 5 jacks. The numbers look really good. I mean, and I don't know. It just seems kind of wild that we have a team that's this flawed offensively, and you send a guy down that hit 315. I mean, what more could he have done? Nothing.
So here's the other issue if you get past Will Benson, okay? And you say you want to cut Slater. I don't really have a problem if you cut Slater. Like, that wouldn't... I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Right. I'm not going to lose any sleep if you option Espinal. I think the decision to keep Espinal probably is as much about keeping your options open for the trade deadline as anything. But 6 of the 7 games starting on tonight coming up are against right-handed pitching. So do you really want Rece Hinds to just sit on the bench up here? I mean, Rece Hinds is a legitimate Reds prospect that needs to get everyday at-bats. He needs to work on his issues, which are swing and miss, just like Will Benson needs to work on his issues. Now, Will Benson is a left-handed batter, so if you're trying to put him in a platoon role, Will Benson can work on his issues at the big league level versus Rece Hinds just sitting on the bench. I don't think that does Rece Hinds any good. And the whole, like, was it deserving to send him down or not? Well, it wasn't really deserving that he got called up in the first place. None of the numbers that he performed at AAA were anywhere even remotely close to, deserving of getting called up. I mean, we've had guys like Mike Ford, Nick Martini, Will Benson last year that absolutely raked at AAA. And Rece Hinds had like a 76 WRC plus at AAA. So I don't know. I mean, it was. I guess you could wait and let it flare out, but if you see it coming, I would rather be proactive than sit on your hands.
I agree. If I felt like the options that existed were significantly different and or better, but I don't think that they are. And I guess that's where there's a fundamental disagreement. Do I think that Will Benson, I guess, the overall long-term player, could be better? Maybe. I don't know. Like, I know that sounds wild to say, but we'll see. I mean, I also say this, like, I think that there is definitely a difference between AAA and the major leagues talent level wise. Yes, I do agree with that. But I also will say it's a much tougher life to live in the minor leagues. I don't think it's anywhere near as easy from a living standpoint as it is in the major leagues. So I'm not trying to suggest that that's the only reason guys can have success in the major leagues versus the minor leagues, blah, 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 blah. But I think that's some of it too. So we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not all that fired up about it. Maybe online and X it looked like I was. But I definitely am not going to sit here and listen to people tell me how good Will Benson is. I'm not going to do that because he's been atrocious. And I understand people are going to say, well, in his last look at his, and I do the WRC plus thing. He's had a positive WRC plus thing. Like, that's all well and good, but the dude leads the lead in strikeouts almost. And he's also basically been, from a slugging percentage standpoint, pretty abysmal the majority of the season. So I'm not losing a whole lot in Will Benson. Now, I say all that and hope I can do what I did to Diaz with him, but I don't see it. So we'll find out.
Will Benson's not been good. I'm not trying to sit here and say that he's been good. He's not been a good player, but that's not what we're deciding right now. We're deciding who gives the Reds the best chance from today until when we need to make the next decision. And I personally think it's Will Benson.
Right.
I believe in Will Benson more than I believe in Rece Hinds because I watched him at AAA. I watched these at-bats, and I see it coming back down to earth.
What would you say to the person that says, I watched him in the major leagues?
I'd say, great. Yeah, I mean, great. You watched him in the major leagues. I mean, players get hot in the major leagues and come tailing off. I think you're ignoring I don't know.
I'm not ignoring it. I'm just saying that we got how many days left we got in the season?
I don't know how many days we got. 57 games, 58 games, something like that.
My point is it doesn't really get. I could give a damn who's going to have a better 5-year career. We got 50-something days left, and unless they do something unbelievably good, above average, it ain't going to matter what anybody does. They're going to be sitting on the couch. We're all going to be watching the playoffs together. And I guess my point is if there's anybody that might get lucky and hot and have light tower power and all these things, I've seen Rece Hinds do it. Now, do I think it's sustainable? Maybe not. But at least I've seen it been done. And maybe you can convince me that Will Benson can do it. I guess I'll sit here and I'll wait for that. Only last thing I have to say is, trade deadline wise, if they make a move, great. If they don't, I'm not going to be all that overly critical about it either. I think they're sellers. We'll see what they do, but I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. There's nothing more that I'd love to see than playoff baseball in Cincinnati, but I don't know. We'll see.
And for the record, I do like Rece Hinds. I've watched a lot of Rece Hinds' at-bats over the last couple of years. I still think he has the potential to be a good player, but I just don't think a player that performed at how he performed at AAA is ready right now to perform long-term in the big leagues. I think he needs to work on what's going on. If he goes down to AAA and absolutely crushes it for the next 2 weeks, you can call him back up. You can do that. It's not you're not sitting him down and he has to stay down for the rest of the year. So I need to see a little bit more out of him, and I hope he goes down to AAA, and I hope he uses what he did as motivation. Be like, okay, yeah, I belonged. I could play in the big leagues, and he's able to prove it at AAA because he's never proven it at AAA.
That's fair. The last thing I would say is this. You are right. I can buy into the idea if we're going to treat Rece Hinds like a prospect. I can buy into that idea because I do think it's I do think it's intelligent to make sure that Rece Hinds gets consistent at-bats. I'm all in on that. But I'm not going to be all in on the idea of telling me that, hey, over the next 57 days, your best option to try to win baseball games is to have Austin Slater coming off the bench versus Rece Hinds. And do I think I'm not going to get too frustrated over it. Again, I don't think that it's that big of a deal, but I do think it's just kid show. I think it's kind of distasteful that a kid comes up here and does more for your baseball team than a lot of people on this roster. He's done more for your franchise this season than a lot of people on that roster, and his reward after he cools down a little bit, we all knew he was going to cool down a little bit, is to send him down. When you got some certifiable bums still on the roster.
Yeah. I get it's a tough from his perspective. I'm not saying it's not. I hope that the Reds framed it right to him. I'm assuming the Reds were pretty smart about it. They said, look, we're not going to be able to, we're not going to be
with their words.
What I'm assuming they said, said something like, we're not going to get you regular at-bats. We want to get you regular at-bats at AAA. And if he goes down and proves it at AAA, then yeah, you call him back up, but we'll see. But the good news is the people that are on the Hinds side, they're just going to say, if he goes down to AAA and crushes it, they're going to be like, yep, told you, Nick. If he struggles, they're going to be like, it's only because they demoted him, because they killed his confidence. So you guys got it either way. You guys will win no matter what. So congrats. You're winners. I'm going to lose no matter what, because you guys got it on both sides. You can go either way.
That's not true.
The ship can steer. It's just which way do you want to turn it, baby?
Nope, that's not true, Nick.
You know it is. You know
all
it is.
you need to have happen is you need to have Will Benson basically pull his head out of his tail and not strike out 3 times a game and maybe get on base a few times. That's what you need to have happen.
Then they'll say, "Wow, he could have been in the Slater role." There's so many ways.
No. I won't. If Will Benson plays,
well, you're a man of integrity.
Well, that's I can't say anything to that. All right. Well,
couple more supers.
Let's do the supers. Let's do a Nicolas Cage pillow, and let's move on. Michael Rolfe says the hypothetical question: where would the Reds be if they had re-signed Castillo? Marte and Arroyo wouldn't be in the organization, but I love your input, Nick and Trace. You want my God's honest opinion on all this? Where would the Reds be if they had the ability to not have to do this song and dance that half the league does, where they can just sign guys, even if they turn out to be bad contracts, it doesn't matter because they can just burn money and it's not a big deal. They'd be in some damn good spots. I know that. They probably had Sonny Gray, Luis Castillo. They would have had a lot of these guys in the last few years, and maybe it would have made a difference. Last year, for sure, would have made a difference, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, you would have to subtract $24 million from the Reds' payroll right now. So
that's all I meant. I'm not saying it was the wrong move. I'm saying that I'm speaking hypothetically as if the Reds had a payroll that they could afford and didn't matter. The Reds 100% would have had some really good years because they wouldn't have moved off some pieces because they would have just lost money on not purpose, but they would have been willing to burn money just to take a run at the sun, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Reds would certainly be in a better spot this year with Luis Castillo, but you would also have $24 million less. So I don't know. You maybe don't have Nick Martinez. You maybe don't have Montes. Right. I don't know, but remember, you still have 6 years of Marte and 6 years of Arroyo. Marte has not even earned a year of service time yet. So you have 6 years starting in 2025 with Noelvi Marte. You have 6 years of Edwin Arroyo. Maybe it work it out to 7 if you call them up at a certain time. So again, it's so early with those guys. And I mean, if one of those guys turn out to be a superstar, it's probably going to look like a really good deal. Or if one of those guys even turn out just to be a above average big league regular, it's probably going to be a good deal for the Reds.
Yeah, and let's also remember here as we move on to the next point that Castillo would have had to want to sign an extension. I don't think that was going to happen.
I don't know. Some of the wording that he used made it sound like it might have been possible, but we'll never know. We'll never know for sure. Another super chat from Michael Rolfe. Mike Ford looks like he's 25 years older than me. Or Mike Ford looks like he's 25 years older than me.
Mike Ford, what do you think he's doing right now?
I don't know. I mean, he's got to be. Oh, he's in
He's
the
baseball?
NPB. He's in the NPB.
What, pro bass?
No, the Japan.
I thought he wanted to go fishing. Why he's going to go to Japan and play?
He's in Japan.
Kid loves the game. Kid loves the game.
He's a grinder.
Oh, man. What's left? Any other supers?
Nope, that's all the supers.
All right. Well, I didn't get a chance to see the chat tonight. I'm out of my element. I appreciate the chat for supporting us as always. Maybe the Reds can get lucky. I'm not all the way out, Nick. I don't know. Can you give me your best? Can you give me your best, Nick Kirby, right now? I kind of need a little bit of optimism. They won tonight. They swept the Braves, and here I sit disappointed.
I mean, I don't know. They're still within reach. I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the season. I don't think they're toast. The Padres did win. They've won 6 in a row, so that's awesome. So the Reds remain 4.5 back, but they're 4.5 behind the Braves and the Padres. So they're within 5 games of 3 different playoff spots. So that's the thing that I think a lot of people keep missing is everyone keeps saying, well, you have to jump the Pirates, you have to jump the Diamondbacks, you have to jump the Cardinals. And like, I get all of that, but it's not like you have to jump all of those teams and there's only one spot to take over. There's 3 spots that are within reach. So if you play well, and I mean, the Reds are 3 games under 500. We've said all year, I think maybe the number is going to be a little higher than like that 83, 84 because the Padres are 6 games over, the Braves are 6 games over, and the Mets are 7 games over right now. But it's hard to predict. I mean, could these other teams kind of all, I don't know, it probably is going to take 85, 86. So, I mean, you'd have to play, I don't know what, 8 games over 500, 9 games over 500 the rest of the year to get there.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you get to 86 wins, 85 wins? It just seems unrealistic. But you know what? Maybe they can do it. Got to win tomorrow. Speaking of that, we got a who, what, when, where, and why. Nicolas Cage pillow. And, I don't know about the dunk. We got some Reds MILB too, don't we?
Yeah, Reds MLB will be just skim. I couldn't pay attention to everything tonight.
Download the podcast.
Yeah, I'll run through it all. We did have some really good stuff, though. Rhett Lauder, 6 innings, 1 hit tonight.
Nice.
No walks, 6 strikeouts. So that is really good to see. Adam Serwinski pitched pretty well down at low A, 4 innings, 2 runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts. I don't think there was anything else that really stood out, but yeah, it'll all be on the podcast tomorrow. You'll have to check it out there. And then we do have a who, what, when, and where tomorrow. 4:10 start time. Craig Sandlin will be in Kirby Studios with me tomorrow. He's doing a trade show in Cleveland right now, so he's driving out here tomorrow. So he will be joining me for tomorrow, and it's going to be Zach Littell, not Little. Littell is how you say his name. 3-7, 4.46 ERA. He was an 11th round pick of the Mariners in 2013. Since 2020, he's bounced around Twins, Giants, Red Sox, and now the Rays. Last 3 starts, 0-2, 7.47 ERA. He relies on 5 pitches, a slider, split finger, 4-seamer, sinker, and sweeper. Fastball averages 93. He's never made a start against the Reds, but he's pitched 3 innings in relief. 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. Candelario is 0 for 3. India is 0 for 1. And Stevenson 1 for 1. And then Andrew Abbott for the Reds, 9-6, 3.19 ERA. Abbott coming off a really good start against the Nationals. 6 2/3, no earned runs. He did allow 2 unearned runs in that one. Abbott has never faced the Rays or any of their active hitters. So I don't know. Do you think that's a good thing? I think that probably is a good thing for Abbott, facing a team that's never saw him. We saw last year when he came up how dominant he was. First time people were getting a look at him. It feels like that's probably a good thing, but every game's its own entity.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but I mean, I'd rather have guys not face somebody than to have faced them a lot. Yeah. Clearly, not lost on me though. I think that's two redheads thrown against each other.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, a little red on red crime.
Yep. Hopefully the red wins that red on red crime. We'll find out. Michael Rolfe coming in here hotter than a firecracker. What the HE double hockey sticks is the Rays field surface? Garbage, trash. Dude, I'm telling you, Tropicana Field, the worst field you could ever even imagine. I legitimately, you think that Heritage Bank Center is bad? That basically is what Tropicana is. You walk in, and it looks like it's just nothing. It's people think that that's an exaggeration It is run down cement, basically cinder blocks everywhere. Half of the stuff's painted. You'd like to think that they could put some like fatheads around or some like cardboard cutouts or something, like dress the place up. Nope. It's so gone. They're like, I think they just walk through and they're like, the hell with it. We're not going to put lipstick on a pig. You walk in there and they got the whole entire top stadium tarped off because they don't sell enough tickets. And then on top of that, baseballs are just hitting the damn Sky Dome in there, and they're making them up as they go. They got Little League rules. It's like, oh, it hit that circle. That's an out. Hit that circle. That's a double. It's like, what is this place? So yeah, Tropicana Field, garbage. Seriously.
The only thing I will say that was really nice is, normally I have to, when it gets like 4 or 5 p.m., I have to go check the weather in whatever city the Reds are playing because it determines my entire night and livelihood and my ability to parent a little bit. I didn't have to do that tonight. So shout out to Tampa. That was very nice. I appreciated that.
You like the dome. Good for you. Yeah.
I like the dome for my selfish reasons.
Fair enough.
Right.
There's Nicolas Cage. Folks, if you think for a second that I didn't bring a laptop, I don't have AirPods charged, and I wasn't able to watch the last three innings of the baseball game. If you think I have a basketball hoop in here, you'd be mistaken. So I don't really know what to tell you other than when I get back home, I'll dunk. I'll dunk 2 times when the Reds win the next game at home. So when I'm at home.
Are there any dunks in the neighborhood? Like, could we get a little Twitter video action going?
No. Now listen, I've done a very good job on this stream not mentioning my surroundings. I have done a very good job, and I'm going to keep it respectful. I Googled the place that I had to come to for work. Okay? And the first thing that popped up was that 2 days ago, a mail carrier got shot and killed. R.I.P., of course. Dunk the toilet. No, we ain't doing that, Billy. We ain't doing that.
Resourceful.
That is resourceful. I feel like a swirly would go a long way for the views, but I don't think I got that in me. We're not that desperate yet. But yes, listen, if I can just get out of here alive, and that's not a joke. I think people think that, oh, Trace is exaggerating. No, like legitimately, if I get out of this place alive, it will be a great weekend. I wouldn't have taken this if I'd have known what I know now. Okay, Nick, I know you've seen the picture. It's never a good sign when you pull into. It's never a good sign when you pull into the city that you're doing your event in, and there are yard signs that have been made that say that it's no crime day on August 2nd. Stop the shootings in all caps. It's not ideal. And I got to be honest. People think I'm being funny when I say I fear for my life. I fear for my life right now. Not in the sense that I feel like I'm going to 100% die, but at the back of my mind at all times, I definitely think that there's a chance. So, say a prayer for me. Hopefully I get out of here. If I don't, I hope Rece Hinds has a great big league career. Yeah, not good. Not good. I seen that. It's not good. August 5th. Oh, man. God bless this city, though. God bless this city. I hope they figure it out. I hope they find a way to stop the crime.
August 5th. It's coming.
Man,
you went too early.
Buildings are run down. Sometimes I just wonder, man. I don't know how it gets to be like this. But I got Jets Pizza on the way, thanks to my wife. So thank you for that. And thank you to everybody that supports this show. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know why they do that because I think, I get on here and say stupid stuff. But Nick, you do an unbelievable job. Listen to the podcast on the way up here as always. Yeah, appreciate everybody. Hour and 41-minute show.
About 10 minutes will make the podcast. I'm just kidding.
Probably tonight. That would be true.
We got a good 25. We got a good 25.
Fair. All right. Well, here's my dunk. Ready? That's all I got for you. Got an outro, Nick?
You got to tee it up. I mean, I got my hand on the button here.
All right. Listen. I'm going to give you the best motivational speech I can. Whether you thought Austin Slater should stay, whether you thought Rece Hinds should stay, whether you thought Will Benson should stay, whether you thought Espinal should stay, whether you should have thought Fairchild should stay. I don't know what we do when Luke Maile comes back. I got to be honest. I've been thinking about it, fretting about it forever. What happens when Luke Maile decides to come back? I don't know. But what I do know is that you're a Reds fan. And that means that you were built for this. You've been building for this for the last 25 years. You're a grinder. You can get through this just the same way you got through every other thing. If you can get through Jason Vossler getting cut, you can get through Rece Hinds getting sent down, and you can get for this deadline to be disappointing. But until then, we're going to talk about the Cincinnati Reds because you love them and we love them and we love you because for some reason, you help support our show. So, with that being said, I'm hoping that there's pizza going to arrive to my door here soon, and I hope I get out of this city alive. If I don't, I love you. That's all I got.